What is a contingency and how does it work as far as real estate's concerned? So in real estate, when you buy a home, there are things called contingencies that are there to protect you as a buyer. One of those is an appraisal contingency. The next one is financing contingency. You also have a due diligence period that allows you to cancel for any reason within the first 10 days or 12 or 15 days, however many days you put into the offer. But a due diligence period is controlled by the buyer in the offer. You also have HOA contingency. There are rules and regulations, CC&Rs to HOAs, and the seller must provide those to you. And from the minute he hands you those CC&Rs, called the HOA resale package, you as the buyer have 5 days to review that information. And if for any reason you don't like it, you can cancel with no fault. You get 100% of your earnest money deposit back. Same with your due diligence period. When your buyer's agent writes the offer, they're going to put in there 10 days, 12 days, 15 days. Typical due diligence period in Las Vegas, 10 days. So that's 10 days to get your home inspections, to go and talk to the neighbors, basically just to do your due diligence. You can go and knock the neighbors' doors and talk to them, ask questions, go and make sure you like the area. The due diligence period is there for you to make sure that you really like the area and that the house is solid, which is part of your home inspection. So during that 10 days, you can cancel for any reason. You don't even need a reason. You can just change your mind within that due diligence period. Cancel, get your earnest money deposit back. So next is the appraisal contingency. That is also something that's determined by the buyer's agent. There's a blank in there for the number of days. I typically do 18 days on the appraisal contingency. That gives the lender enough time to order it, get it back. Now, if you've offered $500,000 on a house and the appraisal comes in at $480,000, then your lender is only going to lend on $480,000. So the first thing you do is ask the seller to reduce the price $20,000. If the seller, they're not required to do that, and if the buyer is not willing to come in with that extra, sometimes you can meet in the middle. The buyer can come in with 10, seller can come down 10. Then if no agreement can be reached, then you can cancel as the buyer and get your earnest money deposit back, as long as it's within that 18 days. Financing contingency. Typically 21 to 25 days is normal. I typically do 21 days. 18 days on appraisal, 21 days on financing contingency. But again, the buyer's agent can put whatever number they want in there. The financing contingency is there to protect you as the buyer, and that protects you from if you lose your job, if the interest rates jump up. There's a lot of things that can happen to ruin the deal for the buyer as far as their loan. If they lose their job, or if they get shipped away because their job ships them away during the transaction, then you can cancel as long as it's within that 21 days and get your earnest money deposit back. Those are the contingencies in a real estate transaction that protect the buyer. And if you are past all of those contingencies and you are towards the end and you're ready for the lender to send their docs to title and you change your mind, you're probably going to lose your earnest money deposit. Other than that, as a buyer, you have a lot of protections there to protect your earnest money deposit. So if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to give me a call anytime.